What's good, fam? Agent O here with an action figure review. Finally back after a brief hiatus. I got pretty busy with life and work and stuff, but here I am with the Figuarts Avengers Endgame Thanos figure for your reviewing pleasure. And as you can see, the box is the same aesthetic as all the other figures that have come out with this line. So you've got some Avengers logo and all that on the side. You've got pictures of Thanos on the back. You got the Tamashii seal of approval, so you know this is not a bootleg. Got Thanos again on the bottom. And yeah, my box was damaged in transit. I ordered from a different site than I usually do, and for some reason it showed up like this. I'm not blaming the site. I'm just, maybe it was just the people that handled the package. But it is what it is, and it's whatever. And you guys already know, if you know me, if you've been watching my reviews, and you know by now, I don't really give a damn about the box. So, once again, it's what's important that's inside of the box, so let's jump into this review. And here we have Endgame Thanos in his full armored form. And yeah, I mean, he's a pretty big guy. He's slightly a little taller than the Infinity War Thanos. I'll be bringing him in a little bit to do a quick comparison. But yeah, so far aesthetically, I dig this figure. I've always liked this armor design. I always liked the helmets and that nice little swooping crest that he has at the top. Something I always dug about this overall design. The gold paint is a nice touch. It's not too reflective, and it's not too it doesn't make the figure look gaudy, and it doesn't make the figure it's not too overly shiny. I'm happy they didn't go with like a vac metal type deal, because it would have been too much. It would have been overkill for this guy. But there's no slop whatsoever on this figure. One thing that I could critique if I really had to, and I was being really nitpicky, is that they could have used a couple extra coats of gold paint on the skirt portions, just because it's not as gold as the rest of the figure. You can kind of see the dark color of the dark blue or grayish blue that's coming through the paint, so could have used a couple more coats in that respect. But other than that, yeah, I don't really have a problem with this. I love all the detailing. I've always liked this design, this armor design for Thanos, and I'm happy to finally get it in action figure form. And I'm pretty happy with it. I love how his collar comes up high and kind of gives him a bit more of an imposing look, just from the front, and from the side, it gives him a bit more of a brutish type of look, and I dig that. But yeah, I have no real complaints. The gauntlet is kind of like more of a copper tone than the original figure. The Infinity War figure had more of a gold tone, and you can see the difference. It's the exact same sculpt. It's just they just made it a different color. I don't know why they went darker. I feel like they could have left it the same. And I know a lot of people are going to complain that this isn't screen accurate, because in the movie he did not have the Infinity Gauntlet, at least at the end of the film. He had the Tony Stark Gauntlet. Spoiler alert, but you should have seen the movie by now. He had the Infinity War Gauntlet, and so that's not movie accurate, but I'm fine with this. I actually prefer this over the Tony Stark Iron Man Infinity Gauntlet, because I don't think he should have been able to make that in the first place. So that's just me though, because Tony doesn't do magic, and the Infinity Gauntlet was always a blend of science and magic, and since Tony doesn't do magic, I don't see how he could have figured out how to make his own Infinity Gauntlet, but it's whatever. And maybe that's why it was faulty, and that's why he died at the end, because an actual Infinity Gauntlet, he should have been able to weld it with no problem. But whatever, that's a nitpick of mine. Anyway, Tony Stark is overpowered fight me if you disagree. But anyhow, moving on. I'm happy with the fact that they used this version and not the Tony Stark Gauntlet. I'm sure a lot of people won't be happy with that, but I'm cool with it. And yeah, I mean, that's gonna be pretty much it for the aesthetics on this guy. Once again, I got no problems with it. As far as articulation goes, I mean, this review is going to be a little different because I'm going to do more of a comparison between the Infinity War version and this guy. And the Infinity War version overall has a bit more range of motion than this one does, because of because of the sculpt of the collar, like I was talking about earlier. You're not going to get as much head movement like you could with the first Thanos, and because of his helmet, the sculpt of his helmet, it's just going to get in the way. And so you're not going to be able to turn as much without it coming apart. That's just how it is, unfortunately. So you have to just work around it, and that's too bad. I don't know how they could have figured out to get all the range of motion they needed, and then some. His neck is articulated as well, but that's about, you know, you're gonna get some movement, but you know, that's about it. His shoulders. He has butterflies a little. It's like he has butterfly joint, but you're not going to get as much movement once again because of the sculpt of the armor. He does have double jointed elbows, but because of the sculpt, that's all the bend you're going to get. His hip and his chest and hip articulation are fine. There's no issues with that whatsoever. So I'm not even gonna go through that. He does have some issues in the legs. The Infinity War Thanos had better articulation in the legs. He does have a thigh swivel. It's not a whole lot, as you can see, but it's there. And he does have the drop down joint, so you can bring his leg up higher. But his leg, you can't twist the legs so that they're going straight down. They're always going to be at that angle, unfortunately, and that's due to the sculpt. You don't have that problem as much on the Infinity War Thanos, but that's once again, it's because of the sculpt and the way they sculpted these hips, and the way the legs are sculpted, so that kind of gets in the way, as opposed to the Infinity War Thanos was wearing clothes, so you're not going to get as much restriction. Same thing with the knees. You're going to get about that much bend, just because, once again, the sculpt of this guy. No real issues with the feet. The boots get in the way, so you can't twist his feet to get the ankle rockage as much as you would like. And he doesn't have that much. Movement back and forth. But he does have the toe point. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the articulation. It's not. You're gonna be able to get poses with this guy. They're gonna be kind of basic and rudimentary poses. They're not gonna be super extreme, but it can be done. And with a little finagling and some playing around with camera angles, you'll be able to get some stuff. But I bought this guy more. I knew this going in because Figuarts, for some reason, they haven't quite figured out how to get the same range of motion they would get with their smaller characters that don't have as much sculpting. Their bigger characters just don't have the articulation and don't have the range of motion. They're always lacking in some way, and that's unfortunate. But I bought this more for the aesthetic and because he goes perfectly with the other MCU figures that I've purchased in this line. So I got it mainly for that. I didn't get it so that he could be trading, trading martial arts moves with some of the more physical characters, because that's not really Thanos. I mean, he can fight, but he's going to be overpowering you, and that's kind of what I'm going to be using my Thanos for mainly when I do stuff with it. And I wanted to bring in the Infinity War Thanos because there are some subtle differences, like I mentioned earlier, with the glove. Also the skin tone. The Endgame Thanos has a darker purple than the Infinity War Thanos. Not sure why they did that, but it's not so. The change in tone isn't so drastic that is super noticeable. It's something that you only will really notice if both figures are together, so that's not a big deal. And this guy's a little bit taller than the Infinity War Thanos, just a skosh, but you can definitely tell in the chest and in the head, and it may be just because of the sculpt of the helmet, but when you look face to face, they're not really they're not able to look each other face to face. The Endgame Thanos is just a little bit taller, but it's fine, and I don't really have a problem with either or. One thing I do want to talk about though is with the head, because you can switch the head, which you usually can't do on most figure arts, but with this one I can take Infinity War Thanos' head and I can put it on Endgame Thanos, no problem, because they use the exact same size ball joint, which is great. And it also is a nice touch because I can take the faceplate off of Endgame Thanos, put the helmet back together, and you can make him look like he's holding his helmet, like in the movie or whatever. Like you can have him take off his helmet, and it looks proper, and it doesn't look out of place. One thing I do want to mention is that the sculpts are not the same on the head. This is Infinity War Thanos' head, and this is Endgame, and they're similar, but they're not exactly the same sculpt. They're both very good looking sculpts, and I have no problem with either. But I actually think I like the Infinity War sculpt a bit better. But once again, like I said, it's not bad, and they may even be exactly the same. Just they reduced some of the features on this one so that they could fit the helmet on, since you're not going to see all that detail anyway. They took away a lot of the detail, but what you do see on the face is almost exactly the same sculpt. So it's good either way. They both sculpts look good, and I do like the fact that I can interchange the heads on these figures. I'm happy that they did that, and switching the heads is super easy. It's actually easier if you do it with the head on. I find it easier. And of course now, because I said that, I'm gonna have difficulties, but yeah, you've got a peg hole. You've got a peg hole. I don't know. You've got a peg hole in the top of the back of the head, the faceplate. You just stick it on that peg. Stick it on that peg, and then you just slide it in place, and you're good to go. So yeah, I mean, it's real super simple, and I love that. So all in all, it's a decent figure. If you're looking for posability, if you can find a better Thanos figure with better posability, I would love to see it so I can get it. But as far as I'm concerned, I like the aesthetics of this guy, and I like what you do get with this figure, because he doesn't come with much, obviously. I can't think of any other extra accessories he could have came with to make this figure more interesting. He only comes with his double sword weapon, which is, I mean, it's decent. It's not movie accurate. I think this was an early concept design, because I remember seeing this particular version when you saw what Thanos was going to look like in Endgame, when you had some concept art leak just after Infinity War dropped, and he was holding this weapon, in the concept art, and I think this was what it looked like from the design. So Takara Tony is actually doing a movie accurate version for sale on. He's got it up for sale on Facebook, but he's asking like $48 US for it, and it's a little too rich for my blood. I like it and it looks really good, and I would love to have it because it actually comes with a rock that you stick the sword in, and it functions as a stand on top, and he comes with some extra hands. It's going to come with some extra hands so that it can hold the weapon in his right hand. And I think it comes with a movie accurate gauntlet as well. It's going to come with a movie accurate gauntlet. So you are getting some stuff. You are getting some accessories. It's pretty much an accessory pack for Thanos. But I can't stomach paying $48. If I had the extra money to blow, I probably would buy it and do it. But I've got other figures I want to buy, and I could easily buy another Figuart for that amount of money. A full figure instead of just accessories for that amount of money. But yeah, he comes with this. It's sculpted in the blade is sculpted in its actual color. I mean, it looks decent. I do like the detailing. The blade edge has got notches in it, and I think that's kind of a nice little subtle touch. It's like that on both sides. He's got the notches in there on both sides, and I think that's pretty cool. But yeah, that's it for his accessories. And then he comes with 2 extra face plates. They're basically the same heads, the same sculpted heads that Infinity War Thanos came with. So you have the smile and you have the static or the neutral face. He also comes with extra hands, the same exact hands. These are the right hands, and they're just a little bit different because they have the hand guard on them, but they're pretty much the same hands that you get with Infinity War Thanos. Same thing with the gauntlets, the gauntleted hands. Same quality. Nice use of translucent plastic for the gems. The exact same things, only more of a copperish color. So yeah, I mean, it comes with those, and that's pretty much it. I mean, that's all he comes with. So that's gonna pretty much do it for this review. If you liked it, please snap that like and subscribe button so that I can, because those likes help. Even if you disliked it, please snap that dislike button. Also, leave a comment as to why you didn't like it, because I'm always trying to make my channel better, and I'm always trying to grow as a content creator. So any and all constructive criticism will be duly needed, and I appreciate it. Once again, keyword is constructive criticism. Keywords, constructive criticism. So yeah, until the next review, I'm Agent O, and I'm out. Peace.